Hi, this is Linda from Blacksburg Bell again. Yesterday, remember, we had picked a subject matter. We learned how to pick a good one, and I showed you how to draw a simple leaf using a black felt tip pen and paper. Today, I think you would like to take this a step further, and I'm going to help you do that. I have some chalk pastels that I'm going to use on this. These are new, but you know, if you have leftovers or whatever, it doesn't matter. But I've got the new ones here. Yum. And I have a paintbrush, because if you add a little bit of water to your chalk pastel after you've applied it to the paper, it looks like a watercolor painting, and it's a little more controllable than watercolor itself, which is a little unruly. I have a jar of water here, and remember, April and I talked about collecting, recycling, reusing. This is a peanut butter jar. I'm sure you recognize it, but it makes a perfect water jar for anything you're going to use, whether it's tempera paint, watercolor, chalk pastel. You can even add water to colored pencils, so it makes a really nice, reusable, earth-friendly water jar. Okay, so let's get started. Today we're going to take our drawing, and remember, we used a black felt tip pen. Don't be alarmed when you add water to this, because your black is going to bleed a little bit, which gives it a more painterly way of looking at a little drawing. Okay, so we're going to paint. We've got the pastels, we've got our drawing, we've got our subject matter, and we have our water. And we have an unruly wire. Okay, I look at the colors here, and I see all kinds of fall colors. I see brown, red, orange, and so because these are new, you shouldn't be afraid to break them. It's called breaking them in. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a color, and I'm just going to snap that. And you're not going to add a lot of color. You're just going to add some color, not a lot. So I'm going to come in, and I am going to get some of this color in here. And I'm going to try and follow the lines, the contour of the leaf, because that's what the color on it does. And I am going to add just a little bit. Now remember, when you add water to chalk pastel, it is not going to cover up any of those marks that you've made. So I'm just going to take my finger, and I'm just going to blend it just a little bit. And you notice I haven't covered the whole leaf with color. I've just kind of dusted it. I'm going to add a little bit of brown now, and so I'll just break in this brown. There we go. And I'll add a few details with the brown. So I'm just going to come in, get a little bit of that in there where I think a shadow needs to be. And I see some shadows along the veins here, so I'm going to get that in. And when I paint this, the water is going to activate the black felt tip pen as well. And I think I'll just have a little party here and put some orange in, just for a little bit of fall interest. And you notice I still leave some white showing. That's important. But you don't want to get a whole bunch of pastel on there. You don't want to be able to say, oh, I've got pastel on here. You shouldn't be able to blow it off. There shouldn't be any chalk dust or anything like that. So I'm just going to gently take my finger, and I'm going to dust over it. And now I'm ready for the water. So I take my brush and I dip it in the water, but I'm not going to leave it soggy. I want it I don't want it to be so wet that it's going to just smear everything. So what I want to do then is I want to take it and I just want to go over that lightly with this water. And I can come in and maybe I want just a little bit more, squeeze it out, and then come in and just add a little bit to it. And you notice how that gives it just a light color. Let the white sparkle through. And you notice how the black pen is kind of bleeding. Don't let that bother you. And just keep on going. Now, I've got something that looks real pretty. And maybe you want just a little bit more on there. You don't want to overwork it, but I see these little things that are flipping up and I really want to accentuate them. So I'm going to come back in and add a little shadow behind this with a little bit of red just to make that pop out a little bit. So I'm going to get a little bit more water on and I'm just going to spread that around and kind of accentuate those things that have folded over against the leaf. And now I have something that has contrast. All right, now I've got some warm colors on here. I've got brown, red, orange, and to make that just a little bit more visible, I'm going to take a cool color. I'm going to take some blue perhaps, and I'm just going to take my pastel and I'm going to just lightly put in a little bit of a background. You notice I'm not scrubbing with it, I'm not rubbing real hard, I'm just putting some in to give it a little bit of flavor. I sound like a cook, don't I? And I'm going to just get that kind of smeared around. And I think I want water with that too, so I'm going to add some water. And I'm going to just make that look painterly as well. Come in and get that. And in the background you can use a little bit more water if you want to. But you just want a little bit of essence of color back there to say this is a finished painting now. Voila! A leaf drawing. Now, what I did is I have another drawing here, and I got so impressed with it that I decided that if I put some construction paper behind it, that it would make it pop out even more and look like something I might want to tack on my fridge and be proud of it.